Man United have conceded double the amount of goals when Agate's been on the pitch compared to Casemiro, despite the fact that Casemiro has played double the minutes.
One thing we've not mentioned is chemistry as well. Players actually playing with each other for 5 to 10 games. We've had so many changes, whether that be the back line over the past couple of seasons.
Because Old Trafford, in these last few years, has become a place where players are like, oh yeah, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going to Old Trafford. They should be terrified of coming to Old Trafford because they're going to get pumped. Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of the United People's Podcast. It's me, it's Nick, it's Dan. We're speaking about Spurs. Are we going to get Thomas Frank sacked? That's basically the only thing we've really got to ask ourselves. And I just want to say a big shout out to City for making sure that they didn't sack him before this game. We're going to preview the match. We're going to speak about probably the tactical approach to this one, which I think is going to be an interesting game. I don't think it's going to be the same as Fulham, but which game would it be the same as? We'll run through the latest United news. We'll speak about Garnacho being a dick, which might not be new news, let's be completely honest. United dominating in the Player of the Week awards in terms of the Premier League. 4 from 4. Mate, Nick, it's been a pretty good few weeks. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah, I said in the last pod that if it was warm and cozy, and that's exactly what it is like. This is, in terms of the best time to be a United fan, this is probably, you're talking best time to be a United fan for since Eric Ten Hag's first season, basically, right? Like, since that period of Barcelona.
That week.
That was
Mate,
probably it.
That was a good time. Take me back to that. I went to that Newcastle final. We had such a good time. Anyway, let's not reminisce about that when it was decent with Ten Hag. Let's actually just speak about Carrick. Dan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Just hoping for another win against Spurs this weekend. I'm still buzzing from that Seshko goal, to be honest. I keep getting memories in my head of just celebrating that last minute goal. Yes.
Mate, he must be. Imagine how much of a buzz must you get off scoring like a 90th minute winner. This has been a really random story I'm about to tell you here, but Shaq, right? So obviously he's NBA, big timer. He's been in Game 7s in NBA championships, and he was like, I could never find anything to replace that high. And he goes, the only thing I ever found in my life was being a DJ. So then Shaquille O'Neal ended up becoming a DJ because that sort of response from the crowd was the closest thing that he could ever find to replacing that sort of high. And Sod knows what it is. It'd be interesting to ask a player that, actually. Have you ever been able to replicate that sort of high that you get from doing that in front of the Stretford end? That right there is the sort of thing that Jason Wilcox is going to take into the summer transfer window and say, you know how we talk about this, the United, that. I think that's what Carrick said after the game when he was sort of celebrating it for Seshko. He was like, not many people get to experience it, but that's it. That's the feeling. And United didn't exactly make it easy for themselves in the last 10 minutes. I don't even think we played. Do you think we played that bad in the last 10 minutes that we'd sort of deserved to turn a 2-0 to a 2-2, Nick?
Not particularly bad, but I think we let pressure, we let them come onto us. And I said this before that I was a little bit frustrated that we didn't just towards the end get the ball and keep it a bit more and bop it about. And I understand, an Agate comes on for Casemiro and you lose a level of technical ability in that.
It's a big old drop off, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think I was listening to a pod early on, and I don't know if the numbers are factual, so you might need to check this, but I think the stat was that Man United have conceded double the amount of goals when Agate's been on the pitch compared to Casemiro, despite the fact that Casemiro has played double the minutes. So, and I don't want to pile on the pressure on Agate, but that's bad reading that for him.
I mean, come on, he's kind of piled the pressure on himself a little bit. Let's be totally honest. In the displays that he kind of keeps, you know what to expect. And I think Carrick probably doesn't want to take Casemiro off, but I think he's super aware. I think we're all aware. The lads on Talk of the Devils are talking about it this week. I took a calculated risk. I think it would be fair for us to speak about the transfer window, right? Just for a little bit, because it's gone and done. What's both of your opinions on the window? Because you can look at it and go, right, I understand it's a long-term strategy. It's kind of what United did. Semenyo was somebody that we wanted in the summer, bringing forward somebody that we might go after in the summer. So, by the way, we must be looking at a left winger. We must be looking at. It's not a position I would be focusing on, but clearly United are. You can say that, right, they're sticking to a long-term strategy. That's what we've wanted for a good while at United. No short-term panic signings, no Kolo Muanis or Matthias Tell. Neither of them worked out for Spurs. But you could also say, well, hold the fuck on. what if we get an injury to Casemiro or Mainu? Like, who the hell are we playing in midfield? Like Danny, where do you stand? Like, are you supportive of the strategy, or a bit of both, I suppose?
I am quite supportive of the strategy because I feel like we're stripping it back to basics and also going back to what Fergie did so well, scouting around the Premier League in England and the UK first, seeing if what we can get, what's the best academy products coming out, like Aiden Heaven and Chido Obi. And then if we can't find any, we're going abroad and we're getting players who are just up and coming. Like we've been linked with, and they're only small links, but like, is it Bellino, the striker from Rennes?
Nah, you just made someone up, mate. You just made someone up.
The striker from Rennes. So I do quite like the strategy. It's just balancing that out with experience that's really important. And when players like Maguire could be leaving, Casemiro and Bruno, what experience are you going to replace them with?
I think like Nick, it's kind of more the point that we're all sitting here knowing that if we get into the Champions League, it's going to be worth a lot to us next season and the players we can go after. And there's a lot of fans that feel that the club, by not investing in somebody, Ruben Neves was a name that kept getting banded around. He's just signed a new deal with Al Hilal. And like João Gomez at Wolves was another one. I don't know what other midfielders there were. Like Conor Gallagher, we've spoken about him before. Like it's kind of just a lot of midfielders that aren't really going to change the quality of your starting 11. And even if Casemiro got injured, would you have 100% confidence that this bloke's going to come in, and whoever it may have been, and solves or fixes a problem that might exist? It doesn't exist yet because no one's injured, but you know, I think United's fitness is significantly better this season. Fingers crossed we don't get any freak injuries. I think that's kind of what I'm worried about. Like, I don't know, something a bit like Martinez with Kufal. Like, you can't predict for that.
Yeah, you'd hope that muscle injuries don't play a part, and one game a week should mean that hopefully they don't. Having said that, obviously Bruno Fernandes pulled up, which is like completely alien. Dorgu pulled up, which his sort of fitness has been quite reliable so far. So muscle injuries, you hope you can sort of avoid. The freak injuries, like you say, are the ones where you can't really control and do anything about that. In terms of the strategy, I'm kind of all for it because I just think we can't do short-term thinking anymore. The targets have to make sense. We went after Semenyo in January because he had a release clause there, and if we didn't go for him then we miss out on him completely. But he was a target that's been there since the summer, and it made sense for us going forward. For the next 5 years, Semenyo would make sense. For the next 5 years, Ruben Neves doesn't make sense. João Gomez, doesn't make sense. Conor Gallagher, no, I think there's a conversation there to be had. We spoke about this before. I still think as a fourth.
Mate, you're in this like Conor Gallagher gang. You are like you relate.
Fourth or fifth option, I honestly think you could do a lot worse. But anyway, so I'm for it. And listen, if we get a freakish injury, Casemiro, Kobe are the two that I'm looking at. In which case, by the way, I'd rather have a little think about Mazraoui coming in at central midfield over Agate for me personally. But I'm for it. That don't go after someone for the sake of the next 6 months.
I presume, by the way, that if something happens to Casemiro or Mainu, that we're going to see Bruno drop deep. I think that's kind of
true.
I feel like that's kind of obvious. It's not that what any of us will want to happen, but I think it probably would, given that you can play Ahmad and Bumo and Cunha and Šeško. You can't. If there's space for replacements, you've got it up top. Look, ultimately, it's a gamble that has been taken by Ineos, and you can throw a lot of fucking darts at Ineos, man, and most of them will stick. I don't think you can have a go at them for their recruitment. Currently, I think they got it right last summer. They got it right probably the summer before as well. There was a miss with Ugarte. Largely, I think they've done very well. This summer in particular, they did well. Apart from the one thing that I disagreed with was not signing. I didn't disagree with signing Šeško. Like, I didn't like him as a player. I disagree with spending 70 mil on a striker before a central midfielder. But we're actually above target. Like, we're currently fourth. Right? And nobody had that as a target. Well, maybe like the overly ambitious ones, but had that as a target going into the season. But I was thinking top 6. I probably would have taken Europa League. I thought that would have been fair reflection from where we were last season to this season. So right now, we're above where we should be. And we've only got 14 games left to maintain it. But something we spoke there, but that warm fuzzy feeling that you're getting from being a United fan right now, Nick, eh? That's what you describe as. Oh, isn't that nice? We've won Premier League Player of the Week 4 weeks on the spin now, right? Can you name them?
All right. Casemiro, Dorgu,
Yeah, just won it now.
against City. Oh, who was it against City? Hold on. Against City, it was. Oh my God, who was it? Was it Kobe? No.
What?
Who was it against City?
It was Bruno.
Of course
Bruno.
it was. I felt like that was too obvious.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, we're going curveball, right? Didn't
Wait,
ask for
and
that.
then who was it before that? What, Burnley?
Yeah,
Who?
come on, remember Burnley?
Sesko.
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
there you go. Banged in 2. So 4 weeks on a spin, mate. That's we're gonna make it 5. Right, get your predictions in now. Who's Premier League Player of the Week this week? Who's doing the biz against Spurs? Is it Kobe's turn?
I'm gonna go Cunha, actually. I reckon he'll turn up.
Dan, who are you guessing?
You know, I'll go Bruno. I can see him running this game.
A little double Bruno.
Yeah.
Look at the conversations we're having.
My, how
We're
times have
talking
changed.
about who's gonna make it 5 for 5?
Go back a couple
Look,
of months,
right,
December, we were not doing this.
Mate,
Low.
mate, it's mad, isn't it? Like the feeling, it's just as much as you try and think about long term this and long term that, and you try not to get swept away in it. Like the feeling that we had a month ago was just down and out. Like you didn't know where to turn. You kind of hoped it was going to turn around with Amram, but you just keep getting, you kind of battering your any sort of confidence you had, and then boom, Amram gets sacked. Boom, Fletcher comes in for 2 games. Well, Darren Fletcher came in for 2 games, and then Carrick just the trajectory. Like our midfield options haven't changed, but at the start of January, Kobe was out of the team. Now he's had 3 back-to-back great performances. Casemiro's won man of the match in 2 out of Carrick's first 3 games, and our options all of a sudden just seem completely different in midfield, as do the whole team. Like, I was going to speak about this Garnacho thing, right? I kind of touch on it before we move on to just kind of focus on Spurs. Nick, like, what's your take on? Look, I don't even think it's too much. I suppose it's a little bit of a storm in a teacup, but for those who haven't seen it, Garnacho before the Arsenal Chelsea second leg of the Carabao Cup, he was just talking about how early this season, like Arsenal were completely unbeaten, but now that United have shown they can do it, Chelsea can go there and do it perfectly. And then sat on the bench, and then came on 15 minutes to go, and then did sweet FA. Yeah, but that in itself, I'm laughing. I'm enjoying it. Like with Garnacho, he's a little dick, isn't he? I don't know what other way to describe him. What happened to him, man? Seriously.
I think with Garnacho, he's still obviously immature and hasn't really grown. Like the way you see Kobe, the way Kobe carries himself, Garnacho doesn't have that. I don't think he's got good influence around him from what it seems like anyway. I think that in some ways he could have maybe, like, you could maybe understand why he felt mistreated towards the end, because Ruben Amorim kind of came in and basically just said, I don't really like you. And to be honest with you, I was one who said I didn't understand why Garnacho didn't start the Europa League final, but the less said about that final, the better.
Didn't happen.
The things that he said since, I think it's one of those where, like, because of everything that's happened, we feel the way that we do about it. But if you take it in isolation, they're not that bad. Like, I think once he said, I have no regrets about the way I left United. I think he said, I have nothing to say about United. And then the recent one was, I think he was just basically saying, look, like, if Man United can beat them, if someone can beat them, then why can't we? If Villa had beat them, he said that.
That's the word. He said we can perfectly beat them. Is that saying that United just beat them? They didn't.
I think
that's the word that got me a little bit.
Maybe I'm being too nice, but maybe that's also a language barrier thing. Maybe I'm being nice. But listen, look, I the way that United fans feel about him, I get it. He's done some stuff. His brother's done too much.
Right, random question here, like, of players that have, at any time that have left United, have there been any players that you've gone on to be like, I fucking hate this guy?
Carlos Tevez.
Oh, mate, Tevez, that
Didn't even need
period
to take
there,
a breath on that.
mate, that 2-3 year period where he went to City and we had them in, like, you know, when we got them in the League Cup and we had them in, like, the double legger in the semi, and then Rooney scored the winner, and then Tevez scored the fucking penalty at the Etihad. And then
giving it large as well.
I think was it the first year where we won the league, and then the second year was when they won it with that fucking moment. I think so. That was probably like the only time where I've really felt like, I know there's a rivalry with City. Like geographically obliged to have a rivalry with City, but it's that couple of years period I actually really didn't fucking like them. Really. And now they're
Valid. Completely
yeah,
valid.
Tevez, I'm not sure he can get any better. And anyone listening?
Nah, I
Who
think
else?
Tevez is right at the top of that. Has to be. You know what's weird about Tevez?
What?
He was only a loanee player, which like is so weird. But we never actually permanently
Well,
signed him.
that was the whole issue because then Fergie, I was pissed me off when Fergie did that. It was like got towards the end of that year, and then everyone was like, "Give him a contract, give him a contract, give him a contract." And then Fergie was just like kind of holding back, and right towards the end, he's like, "I'll give him a contract." And then Tevez was like flipping the bird, saying "fuck you," and then that's when he was off.
Why would you hold back for so long, though?
I don't really remember, if I'm being completely honest. Was that the same sort of time where it was Rooney was flirting with City as well? I think it was.
Was he not flirting with Chelsea? Or was it City as well?
Or both. Could be both.
He was definitely flirting with City.
Ooh, didn't know that.
Yeah, it was in his documentary, wasn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah. I digress. Let's move on to Spurs, right? Let's speak about happier times.
Yes.
Like Dan, come at me with some hard facts about this game. Like Spurs, as far as I know, from watching their season from afar, well, it's not gone fucking well for Thomas Frank, is it?
Not really. Well, they're currently sitting 14th in the league. They've won 2 out of the past 5 games. Well, they were both in the Champions League, actually, which is quite funny, against Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt.
Bundesliga tax.
Yeah. Last game was obviously against City. That was 2-2. I mean, incredible comeback by them in the second half, but just like City in the second half, they've not been very good this season.
Well, what a Jekyll and Hyde performance that was. Like, first half, they were absolute garbage. And then second half, like, what, Nick, like, what do you think actually caused that? Was that just like Spurs, I don't know, coming out in the second half, playing differently?
It was, to be fair, it was actually a tactical switch. So if you go watch it, it was very much, it was a 3 at the back first half, which could sometimes be molded into a 4, but for the most part, it looked like a very clear 3. And Pep basically went 4 in midfield. So when Tottenham had possession, Ryan Cherky would come really narrow into midfield, almost like a diamond 4. And then that diamond 4 up against Tottenham's 2 in midfield, they just ate them up. So that caused Spurs a lot of problems. And in the second half, they just changed it. And Paulinho stepped up in, I think it was Paulinho? No, Sarr came on, I think. And it was Sarr, Basuma, Gallagher, if I'm not mistaken, in the midfield 3. And then you also had Xavi Simons kind of narrowing in sometimes. So basically, Tottenham matched City in midfield. So that was one thing they changed. And then it was a bit more just on the front foot after that. It was passes going forward. It was knowing that we needed goals, so we're going to push on. It was a lot of early crosses and a lot of flood in the box, to be fair to them. Solanke put on a worldie of a performance. I mean, his first goal, there was a bit of VAR controversy because did he kick Gahey, which then got the ball, whatever. But that was a well-taken goal. And then the second one was just
A little scorpion.
bit of a freakish goal, but that's going to give him a confidence boost that he needed. Xavi Simons, I actually thought, had one of his brighter games since coming to the league. It feels like he's adjusting a little bit better now to the physicality of it. But on the flip side, there's definitely ways for us to hurt them. They're going to try to play out the back. They're going to press. I actually think in a lot of ways, they're not going to be that dissimilar to how Fulham played against us. Like, not sitting. They'll take their moments to sit in, but they'll come at you. They'll try to play out the back. And there's vulnerabilities that come with that.
I was trying to think of that. I was trying to think of like the 3 games we've had under Carrick so far. You've had City, which was kind of a particular way of playing. Arsenal, which I suppose was quite similar to how we played against City. I don't think we had as much transition. I suppose we did have a similar. I think those 2 were quite similar. Fulham was a bit different. There's one thing I know from watching Tottenham this season. You can make them make some serious mistakes playing out from the back. Like, they are kind of architects of their own problems. So a well-organised and well-oiled press against Spurs will create chances. There's going to be some like spoon, a bit like a kind of how we scored Mbumo's goal against Arsenal, where we were pressing them, forced a mistake from Zubimendi. I think you could do that to Bissouma, for example, in midfield, if they try and operate the same thing. But I'm always a bit scared of United operating a high press. Like, I don't know whether I like high presses anymore. Is it going out of fashion in football, Nick? Is it still a thing? Like, if you go back to like Klopp's time, where like gegenpressing, it was just a massive part of football. But it seems like mid blocks are kind of as effective largely these days.
Yeah, it's constantly changing a little bit because I feel like there came a point in the Premier League where like teams were better at pressing than most teams were good at passing out the back, if you know what I mean. Like they'd become so efficient in that press that it just didn't feel worth it anymore to play out the back because the likelihood is you're going to get caught out, which is why we've seen a bit of an adjustment period in the Premier League where teams are going long a bit more, which by the way is also an option against Spurs because they do at times play a high line. And without Van de Ven in there, there's a lack of pace. Dragerson, Paulinho, potentially you can get at them like that. But yeah, there has been a bit of a drop off. But like, I mean, against Brighton this season, the game where you guys were both at, I thought we were pressed really high and pressed really effectively. So if Spurs come to play out the back, then I think you're right. We should press them.
I thought against Brighton, it actually surprised me how much we kind of sat off them in the first 15, 20 minutes. I actually thought that we did press them, but we pressed them with triggers. It wasn't like, for example, the first 15 minutes against City was like full tilt football. Like we went out there 100 miles an hour. They couldn't really match it.
Heavy metal stuff.
Call it whatever sort of style of football you want. That's not exactly how we approach Fulham. So I'm going to be interested to see what parts of the tactical approach from City, I think out of possession, then I imagine that we're going to see a similar shape. It's worked. 4-4-2, drop in, tuck narrow. Guessing you're going to have the same starting 11, but he's left Šeško out of his first 3 games, Dan. Can you leave Šeško out after he's scored? I mean, you can. That's a rhetorical question. But will Carrick leave Šeško out after he scored that?
I'm looking at the Spurs game, and we can play out with the starting 11, and we can sit in and counter really well. So, and I'm not saying that if Šeško's in there, we can't do that. But if it's worked, like, why would you change it? Like, it's done so well. And for me, the biggest thing is players are starting to play in the positions regularly now. And we've not had that for a while. And it's not a shock that if you put Bruno in the 10, it works well. If you put Ahmad on the wing, it works really well. It's like, it's not a shock. So if they keep this up, like, we could put 4 past Spurs. I'm going to say that it's 4-2. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but we could put 4 past Spurs the way that we're playing at the moment.
Well, realistically, like, we beat City 2-0, but we had the ball in the back of the net 3 times and we hit the bar twice. Like, that wasn't a 2-0 win.
We had the ball in the back of the net like 5 times, no?
2 of them counted.
10.
There was, yeah. I know. But like, as in like, but they were very narrow offside.
Yeah, I know, man. It was not far off being an absolute whitewash. Like,
yeah, should have been.
I kind of hope that we approach the first 10, 15 minutes like we did against City, because it just strikes me as a game where we can force an error from Spurs quite early doors. And the way that Cunha and Šeško and Mbeumo and everybody has been playing, we've been taking our chances, man. Largely, we've been taking our chances. I think we've been pretty clinical. And I think and I suppose that goes back to what you were saying there, Dan, about not changing it, because Mbeumo and Bruno have been working really well as a front pressing too. Not that Šeško wouldn't. I think actually Šeško would still be quite good if you dropped him in for Mbeumo. But it is working. And Nick, something that's been really important, I think, his last 2 games, Cunha and Šeško, both scoring the winners, both off the bench. And first 2 times this season where United have had goals scored by subs in the Prem, which really was one of the most disgusting stats, because we're so used to having a strong bench and impacting and influencing the games in the right way. This Spurs team is bare bones. Like, I don't know how many they got like 12, 13 injuries. Like, Maddison's gone, Kulusevski's gone, Van de Ven might be out of the game. I got no idea who they're going to be playing, but it has not gone well for Thomas Frank. If you look at how they're playing, he'll likely be pragmatic against United. I'd be something like you saying that you kind of be surprised you wouldn't be surprised if it was similar to Fulham. I don't think they're going to be as good as Fulham. I might be wrong in that sense because they had a better second half against City, but I'm expecting United to be the better team.
No, I think what I mean in terms of Fulham is not the performance level, but how they approach the game is kind of more what I mean, in terms of they will sometimes play out the back, they will sometimes press, but it's not going to be pressing all the time. It's not going to be passing out from the back all the time, which is what we saw from Fulham. They kind of kept us on our toes in that sense, and I expect Spurs to do the same. But there's just no excuses in this game. Like, look at Spurs' injury list. It's actually insane. Like it's Eric Ten Hag's second season insane. Like their back line is depleted. We were saying earlier, like we said it in the last pod, where their back three could be Draguson.
Oh, don't make me pull that face again, Nick.
Paulinho,
Paulinho.
and I don't even know, like, or even if they play a back four.
Romero went off at half-time against City as well.
Yeah, which I don't know if he's actually injured or not, because I don't think that there's been a Thomas Frank press conference, so we don't know if he's back. He's key because he is by quite some distance their best defender, I think, and I think he's really quality. I think he's going to get a good move in the summer, I reckon. But if he's out as well, then for me there's just no excuses. What you said, Sam, there was right. Like first 15, 20 minutes, I don't want to start slow and feel them out. I want to go for them, because one mistake and this Spurs team have the capacity to collapse. And I think that City being poor as much as it was Tottenham being good in that second half, because City also looks really poor.
If that's exactly what I feel like going into it. I don't know. It's not to say that I want United to just go hell for leather, just ignore everything and just throw everything at Spurs in the first 15 minutes. Play it smart, play it correct, press at the right times. But I just get the feeling I don't get the feeling. It's obvious. You've seen it. Like, the amount of times that they've been booed off at half-time, booed off at full-time, home and away. Like, you've got a fan base that is on the edge of crapping themselves pretty much every minute of every game. And that reflects onto the players. Like, Vicario's been doing some mad things this season. I don't know where that's happened. Like, a couple of seasons ago, I was like, he's a bloody good keeper. He's doing some crazy stuff. Force them into a mistake, get into their heads, go 1-0 up. And it always annoys me when we don't use Old Trafford like that. Because Old Trafford, in these last few years, has become a place where players are like, oh, yeah, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going to Old Trafford. Can't wait. Going to get a photo. Might get a little bit of turf. Going to have a great time. Sod that, man. They should be terrified of coming to Old Trafford because they're going to get pumped in front of 75,000 people.
Yeah, and I agree. And also on this weekend, when you also look at the other fixtures, Villa going away to Bournemouth, tricky. Man City and Liverpool playing each other. Those two fixtures in particular, they're teams around us that probably...
What are you saying?
When was the last time we lost a half-12 home game as well?
What is that little fun fact? You've got a stat for me?
I've not got the stat, but I've just off the top of my head. I'm just saying, like, when was the last time? Because I can't remember.
I don't know. Look, one sec. Let me just think about all those half-12 kickoffs. Yeah, my bad.
What, at Old Trafford, mate?
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue.
I
Exactly.
mean, beat City. There you go.
Yeah.
Beat City.
Twice.
It's the only one I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anyone's listening, you can remember that's a level 10 mastermind.
I thought he had it. I was like, oh, this is...
I'm going to look it up after this
That's a
pod.
good one. I thought you were going to come back with some quiz questions. I thought he's done it there. Nah, he's just got a question, no answer.
On the just back to the starting lineup as well, though, I do think that he shouldn't change as well. I agree with that. Like, I think you've got to put out the same starting 11. What I said last week in terms of the front three, like, I just feel like they're the three that should carry the responsibility. Sesko should have it a bit easier in terms of, like, do you know what I mean? Like, those three should be starting because they are the players that you expect to produce for us. That's what I thought anyway.
One thing we've not mentioned is chemistry as well. Like, players actually playing with each other for 5 to 10 games. Like, we've had so many changes, whether that be the back line over the past couple of seasons or up front. Like, chemistry is so important, and we've not had that.
Yeah, like Maguire and Martinez is the best probably example of that now. You actually see in the centre-back partners. If there's going to be a partnership anywhere, it's got to be at centre-back. And they seem to complement each other well. But, like, it's coming at you now. Predictions. All right, Dan, I'm coming to you first. I think I already know your prediction because you said it earlier.
Yeah, I gave it a little inkling before, a little taster. But
Little
I'm going to
teaser.
go for 4-2 United. This Spurs team is not good, and we can put 4 past these easily.
Nick, follow up.
You know what? I'm feeling confident as well. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling confident,
no.
which is like, yeah, like risky place to be. But I think, mate, you know what? I'm gonna go like 3-0, clean sheet and all. Why not? I reckon they collapse.
As soon as Dan said 4-2, I was like, yeah. I think I'm going to go 4-1. I'm going to go right in the middle then.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be here on Sunday after a 1-1 draw and be like, well, we're all dicks. That's what happens. This is the exact point where United have sort of let us down. Once you reach that, they won't do it against City. Oh, they've done it. They won't do it against Arsenal. They've done it. They won't do it against Fulham. And then you finally allow yourself after 3 games to actually go into a match going, you know what? I think United are going to win this. I'm confident that United are going to win this.
This is revenge time after the Europa League final. I know we played them at Tottenham Stadium and it was 2-2.
Why have we mentioned the Europa League final twice?
I'm sorry,
in the same
but
pod, man?
Me and you, Sam, both went over to Bilbao and saw that absolute disgrace. So I want them to come to Old Trafford and I want us to blitz them and embarrass them.
I want us to slash their tyre as well so they can't get their coach home or take all that.
You know what, as well though, with the Spurs 2-2 though, like even that day we were like, and this is like Ruben Amorim, Man United, and also when Spurs had a few more fit players, mate, I thought we were much the better side. Even
We
then.
dominated them until
Like,
the 80th. Was it 80th minute and they scored one?
Yeah, it was a mad 10 minutes where they scored both their goals. Like we were much the better team even then.
Right, so we're going 4-1, 3-0, and 4-2. You've heard it here first. Multiple goals. Come on, United. Take that. But look, we'll be back after the Spurs game for the next pod. I think United make it 4 from 4. But as I said, this is the first time I'm properly allowing myself to go in with a game that I was expecting United to win against Fulham, but I knew that something might have happened. I'm going into this game going, I'm actually expecting United to win, and I'm actually expecting United to put in a performance and dominate this game and make Spurs regret coming up to Old Trafford. That's fingers crossed what we see. But look, if you enjoyed the pod, please do leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to it. Was it Apple, Spotify, all the good places. And we'll be back on, Monday morning. You'll be able to listen to the pod. And then Monday evening, you'll be able to watch the pod on YouTube. But I appreciate your time, lads. I'll see you next week. Well, a few days.